This is from the Bleacher Report. Projected winners of the key position battles for the Browns. So defensive tackle, they say Jordan Elliott and Taven Bryant. Wide receivers, they go with Donovan Peoples-Jones and David Bell, earning the starting spots. And then the returners, they go with Anthony Schwartz as the primary returner. Let's start with the defensive tackles. It's probably a safe bet because Jordan Elliott looked pretty good, and they had been talking him up. Brian is a former first-round guy and a veteran guy. Behind him, it's kind of younger guys, and Sheldon Day got released today. So those are probably safe picks. Winfrey, I think, will push, but you feel Elliott and Bryant pretty safe as far as the D-tackle battles?
Yeah, I think so. I thought Elliott played really well Friday night, and I just think Taven Bryant being the free agent acquisition, I feel like he's getting the first crack at being a starter. I would not be shocked if Winfrey and even Tommy Togiai are in the rotation, but I just feel like coming out the gate, you'll see Jordan Elliott and Taven Bryant there in the D-tackle position.
Yeah, and with a guy like Winfrey, you bring him in and passing down, ask him to do one or two things, and then, here, when you're in, do that. Don't make him think too much, because his pass rushing ability, you saw a little bit of flashes of that even Friday night.
Yeah, there was a couple plays where he just blew up the interior offensive line, and that's what you hope to see out of him. Just come in, certain packages, come in and be that guy that bull rushes the interior of the offensive line, but don't give him too much. He was a fourth-round pick for a reason. You don't want to put too much on him right away. That's why you have Jordan Elliott in his third year. Taven Bryant's the veteran, the leader of that group, so I think they can anchor the position at least for the start of 2022.
Wide receivers, you don't want to get too excited about training camp because last year, Donovan Peoples-Jones was everybody thought it was going to be huge, and he played well. And then with Peoples-Jones, I think once Beckham left and then Landry got hurt, you kind of shoved him into the number one role, and he's just not. I don't think he was ready for that.
No, not at all. I don't think Peoples-Jones is ever going to be a number one wide receiver. I think he's best suited as a number two or number three. Them adding Amari Cooper definitely eases him into that role as wide receiver too. And then, what happens behind them is still left to be determined.
What are your thoughts of Bell? I know I kind of want that foot injury to be healed so we can get out and see him against, NFL quality defenses.
Yeah, you definitely want him to be healthy first and foremost, but everything in camp, going back to rookie mini camp and OTAs and everything, he looked great. Anxious to see him on the field. Hopefully it's this Sunday against Philly, but get healthy first and foremost. He can definitely be the slot receiver. I know people are saying he's the next Landry, but don't want to put too much on the kid right away. But, he could be a number three, maybe even be a number two if Peoples-Jones doesn't pan out. But you see what he did at Purdue. Big game after big game, he was phenomenal. So really excited to see what he can bring to this receiver group. And hopefully he can be the next, Jarvis Landry or Joe Jurevicius or insert ex-Brown slot receiver.
All right. Returner. Jakeem Grant, that injury, it's brutal because there's not much there. They project Anthony Schwartz as the primary returner. I'm not sure. I think I want Anthony Schwartz to concentrate on being a receiver, and I don't want to take away from that. I know the speed it's intoxicating. Just your thoughts on returner.
Yeah, I think it's still wide open. I wouldn't give it to Schwartz. I know a lot of people want to peg him there because of his speed and his athleticism, but I'm with you. I think he needs to focus on being the wide receiver first and foremost and keep developing under Chad O'Shea and, the rest of the wide receiver group. But I think right now maybe Felton goes back to being punt returner, and then I think kick returner is wide open. They had Jamarcus Bradley there Friday night. Dearness Johnson's done it before if he's still going to be with the team, but I think it's still completely wide open as we head into the next preseason game.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I know it's tempting with Schwartz, but have him focus on that wide receiver position. He's key for them to get that right. All right.